Learning Goals. Welcome to this learning session on Age of Legal Responsibility in the UK. In this course, we shall address Introduction to Legal Responsibility, Key Age Limits, Driving, Marriage, Work, Voting Age and Related Debates, Armed Forces Age and Debates, Criminal Responsibility in the UK. There will be a quiz at the end to test your knowledge.
Introduction to Legal Responsibility. The age of legal responsibility defines when individuals are deemed capable of making their own decisions and being held accountable for their actions under the law. These legal age limits are primarily established to safeguard young people from potential harm, exploitation, and to ensure they possess sufficient maturity for certain activities. This framework covers a wide array of actions, including the ability to drive, enter into marriage, participate in elections, engage in employment, and join the armed forces. Each limit is carefully considered, balancing individual rights with societal protection and developmental stages. Driving age limits in the UK. In the UK, individuals can apply for a provisional driving licence and begin taking driving lessons at the age of 17. This age is set to ensure that aspiring drivers have reached a sufficient level of cognitive development and coordination necessary for safe vehicle operation. The provisional license allows supervised driving practice, preparing young people for the responsibilities of independent driving. Many European countries also set the driving age at 17 or 18, reflecting a common understanding of the maturity required for road safety. For example, in Germany, supervised driving can begin at 17, but independent driving is only permitted at 18. Marriage age limits and protections. The legal age for marriage in the UK is 16 with parental consent and 18 without it. This distinction is designed to protect young people from undue pressure, abuse, or exploitation, particularly from older individuals who might seek to take advantage of their youth. The requirement for parental consent for 16 and 17-year-olds provides an additional layer of protection, ensuring that a significant decision like marriage is made with the support and guidance of guardians. Historically, marriage ages varied greatly, with some cultures allowing marriage at much younger ages, highlighting the evolution of legal protections for minors. Voting age and democratic participation. The voting age in the UK is 18, reflecting the belief that individuals at this age are sufficiently responsible and independent to participate in democratic elections and referendums. This age is generally considered a benchmark for full adult rights and responsibilities. The ability to vote signifies a citizen's full engagement in the political process, influencing national and local governance. While 18 is common, some countries, like Austria and Scotland, for local and devolved elections, allow 16-year-olds to vote, sparking ongoing debates about youth enfranchisement and political maturity. Legal limits on working age are crucial for preventing unethical employers from exploiting children and young people. These regulations ensure that work does not negatively impact their education. Legal limits on working age are crucial for preventing unethical employers from exploiting children and young people. These regulations ensure that work does not negatively impact their education, health, or overall well-being. Part-time work with restrictions can begin at 13, full-time with restrictions at 16, and full-time without restrictions at 18. Specific rules govern the types of work young people can do, the hours they can work, and the conditions under which they are employed. For instance, children under 16 are generally prohibited from working in factories or industrial settings, and their working hours are strictly limited during school terms to prioritize their education. Joining the armed forces. Age and consent. Young people can join the UK Armed Forces at 16 with parental consent, and at 18 without it. This age differentiation acknowledges that individuals under 18 are still in a developmental stage where their interests and ambitions may evolve. The consent requirement ensures family involvement in such a significant life decision. The armed forces offer various roles, but some combat roles and deployments are restricted until personnel reach 18 years of age, even if they joined at 16. This policy reflects a commitment to protecting younger recruits from the most intense aspects of military service until they are legally considered adults, aligning with international standards set by protocols like the Optional Protocol on the Involvement of Children in Armed Conflict. Joining the Royal Navy. Specifics. Specifically, for joining the Royal Navy, the minimum age is 16. This age is considered appropriate for entry into certain roles within the naval service, allowing young individuals to begin their training and career development. However, similar to the broader armed forces, some specific roles and responsibilities are restricted until the age of 18. Recruits under 18 undergo comprehensive training that prepares them for naval life, while also ensuring their welfare and continued personal development. This structured approach allows them to mature within the service before taking on the full scope of adult responsibilities and deployments at sea. Debate: lowering the voting age to 16. One significant debate revolves around reducing the voting age from 18 to 16. Proponents argue that 16-year-olds are educated in citizenship, can pay taxes, marry with consent, and even join the armed forces, demonstrating a capacity for civic responsibility. The Scottish referendum in 2014 notably allowed 16-year-olds to vote, showcasing their ability to engage in a major democratic exercise. Further arguments highlight that if 16-year-olds can contribute to society through work and taxes, they should have a say in how their country is governed. Many believe that lowering the voting age would increase youth engagement in politics and encourage politicians to address issues relevant to younger generations more directly. Debate: maintaining voting age at 18. Conversely, arguments for keeping the voting age at 18 emphasize that 16-year-olds may lack the necessary maturity and life experience to make informed political decisions. Concerns are often raised about their potential to be easily influenced by external factors, rather than forming independent judgments. Psychological research suggests that the prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive functions like decision-making and impulse control, continues to develop into the early 20s. Therefore, some argue that 18 provides a more appropriate age for full political enfranchisement, ensuring voters possess a more developed capacity for critical thinking and long-term perspective. Debate: increasing armed forces age. Another significant debate centers on increasing the age to join the armed forces from 16. The UN Committee on the Rights of the Child has consistently challenged the UK's age limit of 16, advocating for an increase to 18. This stance aligns with the minimum age for military recruitment in many other countries, including the USA, where it is 17. The primary concern is the welfare and protection of young recruits, arguing that 16-year-olds are still children and may not be fully equipped to handle the psychological and physical demands of military life, especially in combat zones. Raising the age would ensure recruits are legally adults before committing to such a demanding career path. Criminal responsibility, England and Wales. In England and Wales, the age of criminal responsibility is 10. This means that children under the age of 10 cannot be arrested or charged with a crime, as they are legally presumed incapable of forming criminal intent. This concept is known as dolly incapax, though it has been largely abolished for those aged 10 and over. Children aged 10 and above are considered old enough to understand the difference between right and wrong and are held responsible for their actions. Young people between 10 and 17 years old, if charged with a crime, will typically go to a youth court, which operates differently from adult courts, focusing more on rehabilitation and welfare. Criminal responsibility, Scotland and adult courts. In Scotland, the age of criminal responsibility is 8, which is lower than in England and Wales. However, there have been significant debates and legislative efforts to raise this age. A bill in 2018 debated increasing it to 12, reflecting a growing international trend to align with child development principles. For those aged 18 and over, if charged with a crime, they are sent to an adult court for trial. This transition signifies their full legal adulthood, where they face the same legal processes and potential penalties as any other adult. The distinction between youth and adult justice systems underscores the different approaches to accountability and rehabilitation based on age and maturity.
Summary. Well done, you have completed the course Age of Legal Responsibility in the UK. You should now be familiar with Introduction to Legal Responsibility, Key Age Limits, Driving, Marriage, Work, Voting Age and Related Debates, Armed Forces Age and Debates, Criminal Responsibility in the UK. Should you need to revisit any of the topics in this course, please use the menu at the bottom of the screen.